Hey everybody, it's StarAllianceMan here, and welcome to the next update of the model airport. So this one, I've made a lot of changes. As you saw in the thumbnail, it was a very nice shot of some of the United aircraft over in the satellite terminal. That is just one change that I've made compared to some of the earlier updates that you guys have seen with this model airport. I've actually moved, this time, United Airlines to the satellite terminal now, and we're just kind of testing out, what that looks like, and kind of, seeing what the spacing, looks like over there, and also checking out some new carriers that are now parking at these two terminals, and just kind of, like I said in previous videos, trying to be creative with, where aircraft park and just kind of seeing where I can maximize, the utilization of some of these gates and some of the aircraft in here to try and, optimize essentially our operations. So yeah, we're going to dive through. There's a lot of interesting new additions into this update. A lot of new aircraft that have not been in previous updates as well. So yeah, I'm really happy to get straight into this. The time zone for this one is a little different as well. It's going to be kind of the early-ish morning. It's going to be around 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit later. So yeah, that's kind of the time zone we're looking at. And yeah, we'll jump right in here. So in previous updates, you've seen that United Airlines, they seem to use this terminal. It is their main terminal. We have some StarAlliance carriers that use the terminal next to that. And then Delta's kind of at the end over there, along with some SkyTeam partners. In this update, I decided to switch things up. I just wanted to see, what would it be like if United moved over and kind of, American Airlines, Alaska sort of took over this terminal here. And, we're going to dive through with some of these aircraft. Firstly, we have the American 737-800 in the One World livery. This one is doing a service to Dallas-Fort Worth. Up next, we have the American. This is the 777-200ER with a service to London Heathrow. That's going to be doing that a lot later in the day. It's just here because it came in the morning. Sometimes they actually have some heavies run this airport from Miami as well. So it's just going to rest there for now before a later departure to London Heathrow. Up next, we have our Alaska. This is the 737-900ER with a service to Seattle. Up next, we have the American Eagle E-175 with a service up to San Francisco, just doing a little shuttle up there. Here we have the Alaska 737-800 with a service to Portland. Here we have the American A321. This one just pulled in from Charlotte. And then next to that, we have the Hawaiian. This is the A330-200. Interesting, look. I just love the plane. I'm so glad that, I got that here parked at the gate. And that is just loading up for the rather morning departure to Honolulu. Up next, we have the Lufthansa. Now, the time zone with this is interesting, right? Kind of early morning. Why is Lufthansa here? The reason is it actually got a cancellation yesterday. This is the sort of replacement aircraft that they sent because there was a breakdown with the A350-900. So that aircraft actually ended up breaking down here. They did have a mechanical issue on board the aircraft, and Lufthansa has sent a A330-300 instead to operate the mission today. So that one's just fueling up now this morning. We'll be doing a service to Frankfurt. Up next, we have a couple Air Canada aircraft. Cool to include both of these. We have the A321 doing a service to Toronto. We have the A220-300 with a service up to Montreal. Up next, we kind of end with the Deltas over at this terminal. So Delta, most of this area hasn't changed too much. I just think this is the best use for where aircraft want to be. I do have some new destinations though, and I actually finally have moved this aircraft here. So before it was an A220-300, and these days we have the A220-100, and it's a little bit tight over there as you can see, but I think the spacing is okay. We have the A220-100 this time with a service to Salt Lake. And up next, we have the Delta A330-300. This is not going to be the 900 Neo that I've showed in previous updates. This one is going to be the A330-300 doing a long haul to Tokyo Haneda. Up next, we have the Delta. This is 757-200. This one is just loading up for a service down to Atlanta. Up next, we have the Spirit A320 with a service to Chicago O'Hare. Up next, we have the Jetblue A321 with a service to New York JFK. The JetBlue A321, this is the Neo, right? And then this is the regular 321 with a service to Fort Lauderdale. Up next, we have another A321. This one is going to be for Delta with a service to Minneapolis. And then we have the Delta 737-800 in the SkyTeam livery doing a service up to Detroit. So that's going to kind of take over that first half of the airport. Now we're going to roll into the satellite terminal, which has a lot of new changes, a lot of new additions, because United Airlines now is parking all of their aircraft here. So you can see they take up 7 positions. We've got all the narrow bodies in here, and yeah, we're going to see some some interesting stuff here. Also, the wide bodies are all of United Airlines as well, so just packed in here. You know, they just run this whole terminal. So, anyways, let's jump into the United 787-10. This one is going to be loading up for Tokyo and Narita. Up next, we have the 767-300 in the new livery doing a service to Newark. Up next, we have the United 787-9. This one just arrived from Sydney. It's going to be loading up now. It's just gotten some catering and stuff, and you know, they're just servicing this aircraft for kind of a mid turnaround, I guess. They're going to be ferrying it back, or towing it, I should say, back to the stands later on. And here we have the United 777-200. This one is just doing a service over to Newark today. Just going to be loading up for that. And then we move into some of the narrow bodies. So yeah, an interesting lineup here. You know, I can't really include too much more than what I've got, right? Each aircraft takes up one stand, but we do have a decent variety here. Some regionals, you know, all types of stuff. So we're first going to start up top with the United Express E175. This one's doing a service to Austin. Up next, we have an A319 with a service to Denver. We have a 737-800 with a service to Washington Dulles. We have an A319 with a service to, geez, did I say San Francisco? If not, I think this one will be doing a service to Denver. Up next, we have the United 757-200. This one is going to be in the Herard here, California livery, obviously one of the cooler liveries out there for United, doing a service to Hawaii today, going to be going over to Honolulu. And up next, we have another. This is a 737-800. This one also going to Hawaii with a service to Lihu in Kauai. Or Lahui, whatever, close to that, something like that. And then up next, we have the United Express. This is the E175. This one's just doing a quick hop up to San Jose. So, yeah, that's going to kind of wrap up this little area here. We have all of those United narrow bodies, and then we kind of move into some of the taxiing aircraft here. So we have the Aeromexico, of course. This is the 737-800. Actually, all three of these aircraft just arrived onto this runway, and so they're just kind of back taxiing back to get over there, and then finally they'll be able to taxi around to their respective gates. So we have the Aeromexico 737-800 with service coming in from Mexico City. Up next, we have the A320neo of Spirit arriving from Las Vegas. And then we have a Star Alliance. This is in the Star Alliance livery, the 737-800. I'll try and get a little bit of a better view on him. This is in the United colors, obviously, the 737-800 in the Star Alliance livery. This one just arriving from Cleveland. Up next, we have the Qantas 787-9. So this one is going to be taxiing from one of those terminals. It's just taxiing to one of these parking stands here because it'll just rest for the day before heading back to Sydney late tonight. And then we'll look at this Alaska E175. This one is just kind of resting here. It's going to be doing a service to Bozeman later today, but it's actually just sitting there because it's kind of in the little holding area. Sometimes you'll see that in some airports where if it's a very congested, airport, whether it be an ATC delay, something like that, you'll have an aircraft that basically just sits on the taxiway where there's no aircraft, just basically waiting for their departure to be cleared. So yeah, that's what that Alaska E175 is doing. And also we've had some changes to the hangar as well. So very brief stuff happening here, but United is just kind of messing around with some of their aircraft. This 737-800 is just kind of being parked out here now. And we have a 757-200 also. Looks like it's going to be ready to head out soon. So some small changes being made to the hangar. And then if we just take a look at some of the aircraft on the stands, we have the Air New Zealand 787-9. That one obviously came in a little earlier this morning, just kind of sitting on the stands there. And then we have the LATAM 767-300. That one's going to be going to its gate fairly soon. This one doing a service over to Santiago later tonight. And then we have the new livery 787-10. Oh, I just realized that other aircraft, which means this one, this is the 787-9 going to Tokyo Haneda. And then this one is the 787-10 because this one looked a little bit bigger than that other one I looked at. That was my mistake. This is the 787-10. This one just kind of sitting on the stands for now. They came in earlier this morning, so probably going to be doing a hub-to-hub route, maybe Newark later tonight. Obviously we have an excess of some Dreamlanders here, so we're going to have probably one or two on the stands at any given moment. And here we have the Viva Airbus. This is the A320, which is just about to roll onto runway 26 with a service to Guadalajara. And then lastly, we have some changes to the cargo. So yeah, we've just made some interesting changes here with some new carriers, right? We have the Prime Air or Amazon Prime Air 767-300. We have the FedEx 767-300F. Both of those are Fs, right? all those are freighters. And then finally, we have the China Airlines cargo. This is the 747-400. This one is just going to be loading up big time now, getting some cargo in there with a service to Anchorage before continuing on to Taipei. So yeah, some good changes there. And here's kind of the cargo terminal and what that looks like. And then we go back to our different terminal sections with some new aircraft in there. I mean, that was kind of the purpose, is just kind of testing things out, trying to experiment with what different aircraft look like at the different terminals, and just kind of seeing how everything looks. And eventually we'll make a decision on how things are going to go a little further on. But I do have a retro update coming, along with trying out the new mat that I unveiled quite a long time ago, but I haven't shown. So you'll be able to see that soon with the original Gemini Jets terminal. That's going to be a new update that I plan on making. But that's about it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. A lot more to come with this airport, and so much more to come on this channel. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.